Well, hello and welcome to our garden. It is the June bank holiday, so that just means that there's an extra day. And if the weather is good, that means that there's potentially an extra day to do gardening. But usually, over these kind of summer bank holidays, there are a lot of festivities or events planned in different cities and towns. So there could be a chance that even though it's a great weather, you could be gardening or be in your own garden, you actually want to be outdoors somewhere else at some other event. And one of these events that's held in Dublin, one of the biggest sort of gardening events, is the Bloom Festival. So me and my son, we went and we took a train up to Dublin and we went to see all these new designs of show gardens and any other new updates the nurseries had, new plants that they were showcasing. And I always enjoy the Bloom Festival, especially when the weather is great, and so far it really has been. And this June bank holiday now weekend, it's definitely exceptionally nice. It's been mostly sunny and it's really warm, so it really feels like a proper summer weather as well. And because the weather was so good, obviously the show was absolutely hopping. It was so busy, there were so many people there. A lot of different nurseries showing their plants, and obviously they're doing plant sale there and then as well. And I always really like the way all the nurseries have their own like little display area in front of their stand, where they just combine and do like a combination planting of their featured plants. I find actually that's one of the best places to get good inspiration. And I was definitely looking out for any pollinator friendly plants. Obviously all these stands and then the show gardens are just temporary feature, but one of the nicest thing about the Phoenix Park, that area, is that there's a big walled garden there that is always combined of vegetable growing, and then they have this beautiful floral walk in the middle of it. And they seem to be exchanging that or changing that layout quite often as well, because this time I'm really sure that most plants were different than they were last year. And they were absolutely amazing. There was a beautiful red peony they had in it. There was a lot of meadow rue, or the Telectrium, used within those plantings, a lot of lupins, and the place was buzzing, and you could just see everybody was really enjoying that kind of environment. And obviously then the walled garden itself, there's just something about being in that type of environment, that kind of enclosed and really secure space. So I always like to just go and walk through that walled garden. I also got to meet up with Niall from Niallgardens. He was doing a talk at one of the stages there. Also wanted to visit a stand from the company called Better Plants to get to meet Ollie. And this is the company that I get all my organic Irish seaweed granules from, and they do a root booster as well. And I'm trying to get to use their rose tonic this year as well. But I just want to see what else like new products they have on offer. They're a great advocate for bokashi beans as well, but mainly they're well known for their seaweed side of business. Obviously they are based in Ireland, but they do ship to UK if you're any bit interested in their products. And obviously all these show gardens, these amazingly designed, always really good to see what are the architects and designers coming up with. What mostly stood out, there was a lot of more naturalistic planting schemes in different designs. There was more of an approach towards biodiversity. But then there was a lot of creeping buttercup shown as well in the garden, so this kind of real natural look. And us being in the countryside, we have plenty of this look already, so I still was probably more drawn towards this kind of little bit messy, but at the same time designs that had a combination of some flowering plants, some actual proper ornamental plants mixed with these kind of softer maybe grasses or just overall softer foliage. And then obviously there was one amazing, this kind of immersive design, this big slatted wooden build, and you could walk through it and inside of it with this amazing pond that had its own little sunken garden in the middle, and then with the mirrored walls, it just gave a really nice illusion. But also because it just happened to be a really nice sunny and hot day, obviously when you're dealing with heat outside and then going into this kind of cool and calm environment, it was really serene, and you could just see everybody just calm down. So that was quite amazing. But as far as like planting goes, yeah, there was just a couple of plants that really stood out to me. And because we took a train up to Dublin, and the train ride from Kerry to Dublin directly is like 3.5 hours, and this time it actually ended up being even more because the train was late and whatnot. I did not want to take any plants back with me from the show, and I wouldn't have been able to carry them like that anyway. But after coming back from the show the following day, which was then yesterday, I did a quick trip through one of our DIY stores that also have a garden centre section, and I went and bought more plants from there. I wanted to get more salvias, and I wanted to get more nepetas, because they really did stand out to me from the show as well, that continuously the bees are flocking to those plants at the moment at this time of the year. So all that said, and being full of inspiration from the garden show, I think today is going to be a big planting out day in the cottage garden area, and also for the rose garden. Because the weather is going to be getting so much warmer now, it's going to be much harder for me to keep maintaining the pots with the watering. And I can even see that one of the pots has started to root itself into the soil below it. So yeah, I think it's time to start planting the cottage garden plants out, and then the new plants that I bought today as well, and I'll show you those in a second. Now the sun has really come out, but before we go planting, I do need to water the potatoes here, because they're the potato buckets, and the weather is warm, there's no rain, so they do need to be watered, and they're just a mix of first early, second early is the main crop. And I also need to tie up the chamomile, because that's been flopping all over the place, and it's actually taking up a lot of space here now in the kitchen garden. So a definite no for myself for next year is that the chamomile needs to be gone from the kitchen garden side. It can be on the field, no problem, but not here where the property is much more valuable. The ground space here is much more valuable. So yeah, it's a little bit just too vigorous grower, but the pollinators are absolutely loving it. Regardless where or what shape the flowers or the stems are in, the pollinators will find those flowers and they just love it. And we're definitely going to be harvesting a bucket of potatoes today, because they're the very first early, those 2 buckets that I've been keeping in the greenhouse throughout the sort of in the winter, early spring, they are ready. Their stems and leaves are dying down, so they are ready for harvesting. And we're definitely getting one of those buckets for our dinner tonight. Well, this planting idea did not go to plan at all. Well, I did force myself to sort of at least get some of the bigger shrubs in, but there just isn't enough breeze out here, and it's really hot. I'm just exhausted, and I'm so worried I'm going to suffer from sort of like a heat exhaustion. And this area here, because there just isn't enough breeze, and the way the breeze, whatever breeze is out there, it's just not coming to the areas where I was planting, and the midges are just biting like crazy. I am just absolutely covered with midge bites, plus I got stung by nettles as well. So I'm feeling so sorry for myself at the moment, and yeah, I was really hoping that at least I get way more planted than I did. But it's just so hard with the shovel, and because the ground is so rocky. So at the moment I'm still planting into the original soil as such. Because where I've added the fresh compost, they would be sort of for the flowers rather than the shrubs, and they don't need as deep of a hole as the shrubs did. So I had just all forgotten about how hard it is to dig in clay that's riddled with stones. And I am a little bit disappointed by it. I'm just disappointed that I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to get done. But these days I am prioritizing my health over my ego. So, and I was really hoping it would be so much better for the plants when they are in the ground, because they will have better access to obviously water and nutrients. And yeah, just whichever way the wind is coming from, it's not coming from the right angle to push away the midges, and I'm just getting totally bitten by them, and I am allergic to midge bites, so I have big spots on my hands and neck already. I'm always even impressed by other YouTubers that are able to speak comprehensively after doing some heavy physical lifting or heavy work. And you see, look, this is mad. There's so much breeze in here, and it's just not there, not where I was planting. It's well sheltered. Well, that was the idea, wasn't it? Because the spring winds are way colder and stronger. But after I've been doing heavy physical work, I will just forget half of my vocabulary. So, but at least I do need to harvest potatoes. So let's get that done. And I want to show you the additional plants that I've purchased, some for the rose garden and some for the cottage garden here. So I got more of salvias and I got more nepetas, and nepetas are all the hybrids, again the same as the Six Hills Giant is. They're the fast hybrids. But the salvias, now I got two varieties of salvias. One is pink marble and strawberry lake. I just thought the flower heads on those were stunning, and they're so different as well from each other. And then with the nepetas, the varieties I got was Pursian Blue and the Walker's Low, and the Walker's Low is very well known variety. And one of them is going to be a much smaller mound, as the other one is much more spreading on a lower level. But neither of them are going to be as tall as the Six Hills Giant in the kitchen garden. Now this, I think, is the red Duke of York bucket, and this is naturally dying back, and I believe I planted it at the end of February. I can't remember the exact date, but I'll put that on the screen. And it originally was sitting, yeah, it's definitely red Duke of York. It was sitting in the greenhouse all along, and then once the weather started to warm up in April at one stage, I brought it outside, and I've sort of have left it outside. And you could easily even harvest this as a main crop if it keeps growing for you, but this now, yeah, it's definitely red Duke of York. They are stunning. It's my first time ever growing it. The first time I saw pictures of this variety was, I think it was Kerry from Dogontheplot, her Instagram. She was sharing a picture of it, and yeah, they're stunning. Oh my God, they're just gorgeous. How bright red are those tubers? Okay, so I see the old seed potato there. And I have another couple of buckets of those, but this was the very early one. I was nearly forcing it, having it planted in the greenhouse first. Oh, they're stunning. And the skin actually seems to be really solid on them. There's a lot of tiny babies that probably would keep growing if I would plant them again. Oh, they keep coming. So that was a 30-litre tub. Oh well, yeah, they keep coming. And I had, oh, actually I don't remember now, did I put 2 or 4 seeds into that bucket? I have to check that. Isn't that a lovely harvest to get out of that bucket? Absolutely delighted. And they are so pretty. They're really, the colour of it is so strong. So just the perfect portion, plus plenty of leftover for tomorrow, which is great because tomorrow is Bank Holiday Monday, today is Sunday. So to have leftovers like that, and I don't have to worry about lunch then too much. So today is not Sunday anymore, it's a new day indeed, but the conditions haven't really changed except that it's much cooler today. I'm wearing a long sleeve top, but it's similar. There's hardly any breeze, and whatever breeze is there, the midges are out here still. So I just wanted to still get a few more plants into the ground, and which I did, and I definitely pushed to get some of the newer plants into the rose garden as well. But sorry, they're already coming again. There's a little bit of it, like a hazy drizzle coming down as well, but the midges are just flying around me. I've been bitten so many times already. But I just wanted to get, I didn't want to give in to them winning this battle, and I want to get more plants into the ground. And I also wanted to sow some more carrot seeds that I forgot to do yesterday. So just some of these things are something that needs to be done, and sometimes at whatever cost. But I just wanted to show you what I was looking at when I was choosing the plants for the rose garden, and how I'm looking at combining the colours of them. So the roses that are already in the planter, the Princess Alexandra of Kent is the pinkiest, the strongest of pinks. Then the Darcy Bustles is the really deep coloured one, and then Silas Mariner. So these are the ones where the blooms are open, and you could just see how beautifully the salvia actually tones in with all of those 3 colours, and then the tone of Nepeta just harmonises everything. But at the same time, there's a little bit of a contrast between them. And for the rose garden, I don't want this kind of real stark contrast. I do want it to be a nice, soft, flowy tones. And then the blue Nepeta will also complement the lavender hedges and the lavender colours, which are just these kind of bluish, lilac-y. So exactly in between all of these again. So this is how I'm creating a nice harmonised look across an area. Yeah, I'm definitely done with gardening now for this weekend. Sort of, even though today's Monday, but for this bank holiday weekend. So thanks a million for joining me this time, and until next time.